Okay. Intel 3-minute chart, hours, earnings, and after hours on the Intel earnings. What I will do is I'm going to pull up a tick chart. We're just waiting on the report right now. It's going to move the market one way or the other. It's, they've got to deliver on the quarterly earnings. Alcoa didn't come out well in the beginning of the week. It's a light week in earnings. And so I will pause the tape and come back. Resume. I have an after hours tick chart, and I'm going to record the emotional event that happens in an earnings report. And what we're going to do here is, if Intel can beat the street, and they could give some good guidance as to what things look like. Intel had 129 million shares traded going into this earnings report. Money flow was negative 28 million. This is an after hours tick chart that we'll be watching carefully here. It's a 3-minute after hours tick chart. As soon as the number comes out, we'll see a huge emotional move. We'll be looking at other stocks, how they're affected, meaning that if they report well, we'll get things that start moving up. Here's an example with Google. There's no report out here yet, but it's moving up off the closing low right here, on the ask in prices and after hours. We'll take a look at the relationship to some of the other bigger cap, larger cap technology, and can Intel move the market or not? Stay tuned. Okay, we're still awaiting Intel. Basically, this is an after-hours tick chart, but some old prints could be coming in. They are dropping the bid. They're 21.47 by 49. They only close at 21.48. Sometimes a late print will come in, and that will cause some of this there. It doesn't mean that it's the actual print. We can tell what the real prints are right here by looking in this level 2. Right here is the share volume, and you can see the prices. Still awaiting the number for the knee-jerk reaction. Here we go. Here it is. Here's a knee-jerk reaction. I do not have a report. You hit 21.88. There it is, 21.89. We're recording the Intel. I do not have a report. Let's see how other stocks start to gap. I'm seeing a gap up in Apple and after hours. Remember, this is the knee-jerk. This is a knee-jerk. I do not have a report. It is a knee-jerk reaction. Okay, we are recording it live. Now we're back down, so we hit 90 pennies. I don't have a number. Now we're slipping, and I'm watching Apple was all over the place, and it slipped right with Intel. You can see the whole idea about this is that you can see how other stocks react. Now Apple's ticking back up. I'm just showing what an earnings can do and how fast they move, and what after hours earnings is about in this SMF Pro Trading School. I want you to see that if this number's good here, you will see the gap on Apple. It would bode well if they did well here and sold a lot of processors. I'm seeing Apple Computer gap up. Closed at 43 pennies, not a huge. I'm at 210. I'm just trying to show people that this Intel is moving faster than Van Winkle. Not only that, this is after hours trading. Hedge funds are moving in, and I need to get more of a report, and I'm going to report it to you as soon as I get the headline number. Intel Q, they came in at 40 cents on the gap. I got a 40-cent preliminary. They see margins between 57 and 54, 64. Gross margins, 57 to 64 versus 58. First call consensus, that's good. Q1 revs, 9.7 to 10.1 billion versus 9.35 billion. First call consensus, we've got an upgrade in the actual earnings cycle, and this is what the market needs. Let me show some other reactions here. We got Google gapping up off its closing price, 589. We have our Apple computer gapping up $1 almost in after hours. I'm going to report more on the actual earnings headline, and I'll do a follow-up video just so that you can see the action. Stay tuned, stockmarketfunding.com. We trade after hours. We trade it long. We trade it short. We're trading for a gap in the futures, and we're going to show people here what a company can do on good news or what it can do on bad news, and how a gap can get created in the morning. And right now, we're seeing that. I'm going to pause the tape till I can find out more about these headline numbers. Here's the reaction that we're getting. We had a closing price. Intel's at $22.13. I will do another videotape for people that are more interested in it. They beat by 10 cents a share. They see Q4 gross margins as 65% versus 62%. You haven't had those kind of gross margins out of this company for, it seems like, decades. Q1 revs are 9.3 to 10.1 billion versus 9.35. Intel sees Q1 gross margins, that's their Q1 gross margins, a range of 57-64%. That's versus the 58. They're looking at fiscal 2010 gross margins of 58 to 64 versus 59. Well, anything over 60 potentially is great. Capital spending is expected to be 4.8 billion, plus or minus 100 million. Intel's strong 2009 results reflect our investment in industry-leading manufacturing and product innovation. That's another great thing that they're talking about. The thing that we wanted to understand, what SMF, stock fundamental experts, were talking about was the microprocessors are indispensable in our modern world. Looking forward, we plan to deliver the benefits of computing. So basically, I'm going to find out a little bit more. That's just a little bit to know that they came in at 40 cents. The headline number is they beat by 10 cents per share. And the key to the metric is that CapEx spending would follow. That means that other software-related companies and other earnings that are going to be coming out in the earnings season, you can see here how Google's already got a $2 gap. You can see here that Apple Computer that we own here is gapping $1. I'm going to finish this tape, and then I'm going to come back. Here's the actual stock printing right here. And what people need to realize when they're in our SMF Pro Trading School, when something does well, you create gaps in after hours, and it carries over in pre-market in the morning. So what the market needed when Alcoa earlier in the week disappointed, we had a problem with those earnings, okay? But right now we don't. So let me stop this videotape, and I'll start another videotape on the second round when we actually get into the conference call.